I never thought a sunny morning would end with me face down on the pavement, two cops pointing guns at my head. Handcuffs cutting into my wrists, gravel in my cheek, all because a woman in a pink tracksuit decided I was a criminal. And that 911 call. That lie wasn't just meant to humiliate me, it almost got me killed. And it opened the door to something far darker. Act 1. The spark of conflict. It started simple. I was just picking up my best friend Leo for a road trip. You know, playlist-loaded, cooler-packed blue skies, that kind of perfect morning where you feel like life is finally giving you a break. Leo lived in one of those suburban neighborhoods, manicured lawns, big trees, kids' bikes on the sidewalks. Postcard America. I pulled up, texted him. I'm outside, and he came out with his giant backpack, grinning ear to ear. We were laughing about some dumb meme when it happened. A voice, sharp, shrill, cutting through the morning like an alarm siren. I've seen your kind on the news, casing the neighborhood waiting to strike. Not in my street. I turned, and there she was, the final boss of suburban Karens. 60s bleached blonde hair like a helmet, massive sunglasses, pink velour tracksuit like it was still 2002, fingers shaking at me like I'd just robbed a bank. I froze. I'd been to Leo's house 100 times, and now I was apparently a drug dealer, a thief, a dangerous black man with a stolen car. Leo tried to calm her. "Ma'am, this is my friend. He's picking me up. I live here." But she barked a laugh. "Nice story. I know who owns this house, a sweet couple. You're squatting. That car's stolen. That's what you people do." Her words hit like a slap. And before we could breathe, she pulled out her rhinestone-covered phone, stabbing the screen with her acrylic nails. "I'm calling the cops. Burglary in progress. 2 suspects. One has a weapon." Weapon. That one word flipped everything. Minutes later, sirens screamed down the block. Patrol cars boxed us in. Officers jumped out with guns drawn. Hands up on the ground now. So there I was, a grown man with a 401k, a spotless record laying on my stomach like a felon. Gravel biting my skin, adrenaline spiking so hard I couldn't swallow. And across the lawn, Karen, arms folded, smirking like she'd won the lottery. The cops cuffed us, searched us, ran our IDs. Of course they found nothing. Eventually, some tired sergeant muttered, "Sorry about that, you're clear." Karen. She got a stern warning. That's it. I sat there, wrists red, heart still racing, thinking, this is insane. She weaponized the system, nearly got us shot, and she just walks back inside. Act 2. Escalation and turning point. Back inside Leo's house, the silence was heavy. He paced, fists clenched. She lied about a felony, lied about a weapon. She put our lives in danger. And she gets a slap on the wrist. I didn't even answer. I just slumped on the couch, drained. Part of me wanted to forget it. Maybe if we ignored her, she'd move on. And yeah, a darker thought hit me. Maybe we were overreacting. Maybe this was just one crazy lady and we should let it go. For a second, I almost believed that lie, almost gave up. But then Leo stopped pacing. His face hardened. No, this isn't ending here. I didn't go to law school to draft boring contracts. I went to fight this. Civil rights, abuse of power, and now I'm done rolling over. That snapped me out of it. I looked at him, remembering my own boring job. I've got something too. You know, I said I was just a content strategist. Not exactly. I'm an investigative journalist. I dig. And if this woman wants a war, she just picked the worst possible neighbors to mess with. We shook on it. 2 friends now, a lawyer-reporter tag team. And the digging began. First stop, property records. We found the house next to Leo's wasn't just Karen's. It was owned by a trust, Sunshine Seniors Living Trust. Weird. Digging deeper, we found the trustees, an elderly couple, Arthur and Mildred. But a few years back, the trust was amended. They were declared incapacitated. Control transferred to Karen. Caretaker, not family. Suddenly managing all their assets. My stomach turned. Was she just some paranoid neighbor? Or a predator? The more we uncovered, the darker it got. The doctor who signed the incapacitation papers lost his license for shady prescriptions. The notary, under investigation. Karen herself, A trail of lawsuits across states, always tied to elderly victims, always settled quietly. Leo rubbed his temples. This isn't just about us. This smells like elder fraud. That's when doubt crept back in. What if we were spinning a conspiracy out of nothing? What if we were wrong? Karen had documents, power of attorney. Who'd believe us? I almost said forget it. But then one clue changed everything. On social media, I found Thomas Arthur and Mildred's son. His Facebook posts from a year ago screamed desperation. Has anyone heard from my dad? Caretaker won't answer my calls. I'm worried sick. My hands shook as I messaged him. Within an hour, he called back, voice breaking. I knew it. She cut me off, said my parents were too sick to talk, told police I was just after money. I've been screaming into the void for 2 years. That's when it clicked. We weren't paranoid. We weren't crazy. This wasn't just about 2 guys humiliated in a driveway. This was about an elderly couple being isolated, drugged, robbed of their freedom. And now we had their son, the missing piece. Act 3. Climax and Justice. The next morning, Thomas drove 3 hours to meet us. Same driveway, same cursed spot where it all began. He gripped our hands, eyes wet. You're the first people who actually listened. Let's end this. We walked into the police station, lawyer, journalist's son, slammed a fat folder of evidence on the captain's desk. Leo's voice steady. We're here to report ongoing elder abuse, fraud, and unlawful imprisonment. At first, the captain looked skeptical. But as Leo laid out the fraudulent trust papers, I showed Karen's online tirades, and Thomas told his story. Her face hardened. She picked up the phone. Get me financial crimes and adult protective services. Priority wellness check at 125 Oak Street. Now. Finally, the system moved. We waited down the street as cops knocked on Karen's door. She tried her usual act, yelling, blocking them. But this time they had a warrant. They forced their way in. Minutes crawled by. Then an hour. Thomas paced like a trapped animal. What if they're gone? What if she's hurt them? Finally, Detective Murphy emerged, her face grim. They're alive, but sedated. Prescription bottles everywhere. She's been telling them you died, Thomas. Brainwashing them. My blood ran cold. She hadn't just stolen money, she'd stolen their reality. And then the front door opened again. 2 officers led Karen out. No smug grin this time, just shock, panic. Her wrists locked in real handcuffs. I'll never forget her face. That pink tracksuit hair, a tangled mess, eyes darting. She saw me and Leo, and for the first time, no hate, no superiority. Just the look of someone who realized she'd poked the wrong bear. The bear that brought the whole forest down on her head. Behind her, paramedics wheeled Arthur and Mildred out on stretchers, frail, blinking against the sunlight, confused but breathing. And Thomas? He collapsed next to his father, grabbing his hand, sobbing. They told you I was gone, but I'm here. I'm never leaving again. I turned away, throat tight. This wasn't my reunion. My role was done. I just watched as the woman who tried to destroy us was shoved into the back of a squad car. Door slammed. Case closed. Closing line lesson. Some battles you don't choose, but when someone twists the system against you, standing up might not just save yourself. It might save lives.